You guys might not know that Cottonwood has no property taxes. They pay no property taxes. So the whole Verde Valley supports Cottonwood with the sales taxes. There's basically nowhere else to go shopping other than Cottonwood. And we all pay for Cottonwood's subsistence. And so we get our water rates jacked up. I pay $38 a month, and I use 600, last bill I showed 600 gallons of water in a month. Of course, it's a steady $38, it's just all fees, but you know, I don't use any water, barely, so. Yeah, the part that really gripes me, they probably will start raising the sales taxes. And if they could, they'd jack it up just for the people that don't live in the city of Cottonwood, but I don't think they can do that. And in terms of population, Verde Villages, just Verde Villages, has more of a population than Cottonwood. Just the Verde Villages. We've got 4,445 lots, I think. And not all of them are built on, but that's a big area. One of the reasons, the excuses given for raising the water rates outside Cottonwood, especially in the Verde Villages, was they said they put in fire hydrants. So I contacted the fire chief. I know we have one fire hydrant at the pond, and he said there's 2 more, and he's not sure exactly where they are. The difference between an active fire hydrant is it's got enough water pressure and enough pipe to actually spray some water. These aren't charged, that's what it's called, charged. They've got small lines feeding them. The reason they've got small lines is they're right near water supplies. So yeah, they put in 3 fire hydrants. That must have cost them, boy, hundreds of dollars.
I would like to ask if and when you decided on these rate increases, with Cottonwood having 11,000 constituents and 11,000, let's say, paying on a water bill inside the city limits, and now there are 3,500 less people using the water and paying their bills because they cannot, and then on the other hand, they cannot afford to have it turned back on, then what are they going to do when this bond measure gets okay and there's fewer and fewer people available to pay that bond? Will we continue to see rate increases every month? We have another rate increase already at 8%, and they plan on raising it 42% over the next 4 years. So within 5 years, we'll be at over 100% rate increase and stuck with the bond. I believe we should all stand up and raise our voices. Thank you.
I think I'm outclassed here. You all know a lot more than I do. You know, it's about the innards of things, but all I know is that we, my age group, we have a problem with the water price and the sewer. The sewer is unreal, and we're all trying so hard to keep our water down. You know, the amount that we use, that it's just terrible, the bills that we are getting, and we can't afford it. It's getting to be either meds or food or water, and which one is more important? Thank you.
And I'm here today to protest the outrageous 67% increase that was foisted on our people by the Cottonwood City Council. Verde Village is a community that has a lot of retirees. We also have low-income people. They can't afford this rate increase. None of us can really afford it. But we don't have a choice. Our only choice is to fight this as much as we can and to try to get some regulatory things passed to regulate the companies, these water companies, municipal water companies, from getting a monopoly so that they're able to charge these rates. And I think that we have to get people going, understand what this means to most people in our communities. And on top of this 67% increase that we got last year, it appears that now they've decided to give us another rate increase on top of that. It's got to stop. Our people in my community, Verde Villages, cannot afford this. And so we need to band together as a group to do whatever we can to put a stop to all of this. And I think the way to do it is by perhaps going to the legislature, see if they will help us, and maybe perhaps getting something going so that these municipal water companies have to be regulated just like all the other water companies in the state of Arizona, by having to go to the Arizona Corporation Commission for any increases that they want. That would help. But we have to start it. We have to get going. We have to get moving. So that's what we're here today to do.
I'd like to speak on the fact that I don't trust Cottonwood at all, because I've been through 2 annexation votes, and they just want to annex us for revenue purposes, and they just don't have no substance. They tell us one thing, and it's all ploy of getting the water. That was the only reason they bought the water, is so they could force us into a situation where we have to knuckle under. I've felt this for years, that they've been trying any ways, means, and some of the proposals that they came up with on the last 2 annexations that they tried were just, you know, 2 seats on the council, from what I remember, and the revenue would go into their coffers for 2 or 3 years, and then we might get some services. And I just do not believe that Cottonwood is a valuable commodity for us to join in annexation at all. It may be about water, but the annexation and the tax base is the bottom line.
And I attended both of the public meetings on this rate increase last year, and the way we were treated was that we had no say-so in it because we couldn't vote in their city elections. So basically, they stuck us with twice the rate increase that the people in Cottonwood suffered. And so they're going to try to increase the rates again and have more bond issues. And the only way now that they're going to get any more money from the people in the Verde Santa Fe or the villages is through utility rate increases and sales tax, if they raise that again. Otherwise, they can't get any more from us, can they? They rammed it down our throats because we have no voting power right now, and they're just going to keep doing it. And at those meetings, they sat there with that smug look on their face, like they don't care, and they're going to do as they please. And they're all self-promoting. They give each other big pay raises. There's lots of people in the city now are making over $100,000 a year for doing what, I have no idea. But it's typical government run amok for a town of that size.
I put 10 years on the Tucson Fire Department, and I was water and wastewater superintendent for Coconino County for 5 years, and I put in Kachina Village. I had the control of Kachina Village water and sewer up there, and I put in about 12 or 14 fire hydrants in Kachina Village in cooperation with the Kachina Fire Department. And at that time, and that was some 26 years ago, the cost of the hydrants that would be dependable was over $600 a piece, and that was delivered to Kachina Village. So it's a little bit more than that. Now I'm positive that it'll at least run $1,000 just for the hydrant itself. So, but the trade-off to that is if you get fire hydrants, but here's the thing on it, if you get fire hydrants, you have to have a minimum of a 6-inch water line to get sufficient flow for anything to do other than just a little more than a garden hose stream. If you don't have at least a 6-inch line, all you're going to be able to handle is a 2-inch hand line. And that's not going to be much of a fire retardant to help in the case of a structural fire. And with mobile homes like Unit 1 and Unit 3, it's been my experience, if the fire department is not on scene, within 3 minutes, your home is a total loss. There is no, so the way that mobile homes are built, there is no fire resistance whatsoever. So that's one of the things to do it. The advantage to having the hydrants is you will get a 2-point drop in your insurance rates. In other words, like up here in Verde Village 3 where I live, there's no hydrants that I know of, and we have the maximum insurance rates, which used to be a category 10. If you got fire hydrants, it would automatically drop to a category 8.
My name is Al Gozdan. I'm actually the guy that started the water petition. And I started it because a month after we moved in, I got a bill for 7,000 gallons of water. So I went down, I actually went around and I took a time-stamped photograph of my meter, which showed they had overcharged me or overread the meter or did a data entry error of some kind, but anyway, it was 5,000 gallons over. So my wife and I got in the car and we went down to the utility company office and we brought it to their attention. And the guy said, well, we'll have to send someone up to check it. I said, fine, send me a revised bill. And we walked out. Well, a month went by, no bill. I finally got one. They were charging me late fees for the previous bill that was wrong. So after going back down there a second time, I told them I'm putting a gate in the back of we just moved in, a gate in my back fence, and I will be reading my own meter every month, and I will be taking a date time stamp photograph of that meter reading, and this won't happen again. If your water comes from a municipality in Arizona, you have no rights under RUCO. So that's when we determined that the law has to be changed.
I was reading over these revenue bonds that they have. In 7 years, it's barely, isn't even $1 million that's been paid on it. But there's several $1 million in interest that's been paid, which is normal. But by the time this is all paid, it looks like it's going to be about 50 years before it's all paid. So if you folks don't stand up and say, hey, we've got to get rid of these people that are spending this money recklessly, you've got to actually stand up and say, hey, we need to file a petition to get rid of the people that are making the decisions. You have to recall all of them and get rid of the others that are underneath there working, or else you're fighting a losing battle. And I've never seen a place like this. And with this other new bond coming along, they're broke. This town is broke. And someone's going to have to pay for it. And I don't think the federal government's going to pick up the tab for a bunch of idiots.